And we keep talking about this. They keep scoring before their pitcher even comes out. And it gives them the ease to come in and be like, all right, cool. I have a six. I mean, Poteet's like, cool. I have a 6-run cushion. This is great.
And especially for a young pitcher too, right? Like Poteet, like for a new pitcher, that's a really easier way to come into a game.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm one of your hosts, Stacey Gotsulias. Today's episode of Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. With me, as always, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
They won again? Is there anything more I could say, right? How long have you checked the tracking of your Cody Poteet jersey?
Right. It's at that point now. It's like, wow, look at this guy. I mean, is he the perfect pitcher? No, but he gets the job done. He lasts long enough and he does what he needs to do and he doesn't give up a lot of runs. And it's just great. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We're almost at 6,500. Ooh. Like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. Coming up on the show, we preview the finale in Kansas City. It's an afternoon game. Did you guys know that Aaron Judge is the reason why the road uniforms changed for 2024? Because I didn't realize he was the reason, but we found this out today. We're going to give you more info about that. I willed an Athletic article about Michael Tonkin into existence by mentioning this on the show. I didn't really, but I'm going to take credit for it.
No, you did.
But first, the Yankees beat the Royals again. They beat up on an AL Central team again. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's been one of the weirder series, though, because the fact that they're beating up the Royals, right? They're not just beating them in games that are close or tight or anything like that. The Royals are one of the better teams in the American League, and the Yankees are dummying them every night. I mean, it's not even close every night. Really strange. I can't remember a series where I've seen them look more dominant. Really weird how coming off the Dodgers series looked like they couldn't score at all. And now all of a sudden, let's not turn this down. The Royals are one of the better teams in all of baseball. They really are. Like, that's what they've been this year. They're a really good pitching team. They're on pace to win like 90 games. And the Yankees are just making a joke of them every single night. It really is impressive to see. And Stanton with another just absolute nuke. I mean, he's starting to hit one of those strides too, where as soon as Judge sort of kind of cools off, I mean, this is what cooling off for him is, which is scary still. Stanton starts to hit one of his hot streaks.
Right.
Where I mean, we've seen Stanton get hot, and it's more impressive than any player in baseball too, and any player in sports really, where he just goes on and on and on and can't get him out either. So really just I can't get over how good this was. I really can't.
Yeah, it was really funny because I stepped away for a moment. What was I doing? I can't even remember, but I had the game. I didn't have it on my TV on Prime. I had it on my computer because I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but if you're watching on Prime, does your feed get weird during the commercials and it gets slow and then it kind of refreshes and it does this weird thing? Because
mine gets significantly delayed. So
why?
I get the notification on my phone that, whoever homered, I get that like a good out or two before the guy actually homers.
Okay, so it's not just me. So I was watching it on my computer instead, and it was perfectly cromulent, as they would say on The Simpsons. And I stepped away for a moment, and all of a sudden it was like, I'm like, how is it 6-0 already? I'm like, this is unbelievable. And we keep talking about this. They keep scoring before their pitcher even comes out. And it gives them the ease to come in and be like, all right, cool. I have a 6. I mean, Poteet's like, cool. I have a 6-run cushion. This is great.
And especially for a young pitcher too, right? Like Poteet, like for a new pitcher, that's a really easier way to come into a game, right? When you're pitching with a lead, you could be more aggressive. You could throw them a little more pitches down the middle of the plate and dare guys to hit the ball more because you have a little bit of a cushion there. I really, again, I can't state I can't underestimate how impressed I actually was in this game because this keeps going on and on, but they keep winning games, and now it's 3 in a row in Kansas City, and not to mention too, Kansas City's been a lot better this year at home than they are on the road. Like, they've been a really good home team this year. And still, I mean, they can't seem to touch the Yankees. It really, I mean, I'm rare for me to say this. I'm almost at a loss for words at this point, though, with the Yankees, though, because it feels like they win every single night.
Yeah, it's crazy. So here's a cool stat for you. The Yankees have scored 17 inning runs in June. The Nationals have scored 16 inning runs the entire season.
Yeah, if you're a no-run first inning better for the Yankees, you've not made a lot of money this year.
Yeah. In that first inning, Verdugo had an RBI single. Trevino hit a home run. A lot of guys were, it was just, it was that, I told this story before, but during the dynasty years, it felt like the Yankees did this in every game. And my dad would always joke, let's get 5 in the first. And when they were up to, I was like, all right, Gus, you would like this, Gus.
And this is what good teams do, right? I mean, I go back to that Paul O'Neill quote a couple of weeks ago where he said, in those 90s teams, that their goal was to come out, punch you in the face early on in the game and let you know that you're not going to compete today. And it feels like this team is starting to do that, right? Against good teams too. They're coming out immediately and let you know this is not going to be your day. And it's not just 2 out of 4 games in a series. It's not, 1 out of 3 games in a series that they're doing that. They do it every single night where they come out and tell you you're not competing today. And I think other teams are starting to get that feeling when they put the Yankees too.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Stanton, another absolute bomb. They measured that at 449, but Jeff Nelson said that he walked out and measured the one from last night. He said it was at least 480.
Yeah. Well, he didn't do that, but he's right. I mean, I don't know what system Major League Baseball is using. I'm sure Rob Manfred had to cut money somehow. So he used a less accurate measuring system, some weird thing, because it's fairly inaccurate. We've seen these home runs our whole lives, right? We've seen you don't exactly know, right? And you still do need the tracker, but part of you does have this internal tape measurer when you see a home run, oh, that's 500 feet. That's 400 feet. You kind of know. They're wrong all the time, Stacey. Am I crazy for saying that, or?
No, because it does feel like some of them are not correct because even Wednesday's home run compared to Tuesday. I mean, Tuesday's was, I don't know how that wasn't measured at least 475. And when they said 446,
they measured it at 448, I think. Yeah.
446. It was 446. And then the one he hit tonight was 449. And I thought,
no, makes no sense.
But that was he hit the snot out of that one on Wednesday night. Just unbelievable. The sound off the bat, just the way he swings. And even the single he hit went unbelievably. Yeah. He nearly killed the pitcher. So here's another fun stat for you. Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and Giancarlo Stanton have combined to hit 31 home runs with an exit velocity of 110 plus miles per hour, responsible for all of the home runs on the Yankees at that velocity. The next closest team, the A's, surprisingly, only have 10 such home runs. So not only do they hit the ball far and
Yankees
often,
are plus 21.
They hit them hard as well. Gleyber hit a bomb. That was
nice
impressive.
To see.
Yeah, that was good. Rizzo got a hit. He got a sac fly. So little things that are happening that you want to see from people are going on. Now we talked about Poteet. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. The bullpen was having a little bit of issues. Canely was having an issue. Hamilton had someone struck out, but the ump was awful tonight. Awful. He was calling pitches above the strikes, and pitches that were low in the strike zone, balls. And I don't understand what was happening there. He did it to the Royals pitchers. He did it to the Yankees pitchers. It was just a mess all around.
We see it every night, unfortunately, too. That's the problem, though. It's across the whole league.
Yeah. CB Buckner called Seiya Suzuki out on an outside pitch that was nearly 6 inches off the plate. And I joked on Twitter saying, hey, Angel Hernandez left and was like, CB, take over my crown. You can take the worst.
He's doing a great job honoring him.
Yeah, he's honoring him a lot. So the Yankees have won 17 of their first 22 series. That seems pretty good.
You'll take that.
Every day, twice on Sundays. Yeah.
There's no words for it anymore. For what they've done this year. I mean, they've been so unbelievably good, so consistent too. Their bad stretches are 3 or 4 games and that's it. I mean, they have been unbelievable. They have their offense has no issues, their pitching has no issues, their bullpen has no issues. I mean, all 3 facets of the game that you really need to dominate in to be a winning team that they excel at. They're not even just good at, they excel at. I'm excited for the summer. I'm excited to see how the dog days of the summer go, especially if they have a big lead, right? Like I think, believe it or not, the Orioles being as good as they are this year actually helps the Yankees out. And people are saying, oh, well, they can't put it away early. It keeps them playing for something. It keeps them playing at their top game. You see this a lot with teams. It's happened with the Dodgers the last decade plus, right? Where they go into the postseason every year and they go in with an 18-game lead on their division, and then they lose in the first round. And you go, well, how is this possible that a team that was this good all season just drops in the first round and loses? It's because you're not playing meaningful competitive baseball. The Dodgers, for the last decade plus, haven't played meaningful competitive baseball in their division. They knew a playoff spot or a division title was locked up by the 4th of July, pretty much every single year. And the Yankees not knowing that is a really good thing. Like making them play hard, making them need to win games is a really good thing. Keeps them playing competitive baseball through the summer, through September. Hopefully it leads to a division title, but even if it doesn't, that's a good sign for the team.
Well, that's what happened in 2012 when the Orioles were on their toes for the entire month of September. And then they ended up playing against them in the division series, and it went to 5. And it was just, that was insane. So yeah, I can see that being a better thing. Because it is true, like when a team has a big lead, they're still beating teams, but they don't have someone right behind them. So they're still playing good baseball, but it's not urgent baseball. Exactly. So it does give you a problem when you go into the playoff. You see that
2001,
often with certain teams.
2001 with the Mariners. That's exactly what happened with the Mariners, right? They got caught off guard in that first series. I mean, you were playing a team that was on the tail end of their dynasty, but you were playing and had experience and stuff. So it's not a crazy great first example, but it's the truth. The Yankees had to play good baseball at the end of that season to get into the playoffs, to get into that wild card spot, and they ended up beating the Mariners because the Mariners hadn't played meaningful baseball since May. It means something. It really does. That level of urgency throughout your pitching staff, your bullpen pitching in big games. Like the Yankees are going to need wins in August and September, which means Ian Hamilton, Luke Weaver, Tonkin, Clay Holmes. These guys are going to be pitching in big games, in big moments where they need to get outs, and that's valuable in September and August because that leads into October, which they're going to be pitching in big games in that month too. Hopefully, you like to see. So that all of this means something, especially with Garrett Cole looming. He should be back in. Hopefully, it looks like 2 weeks now at this point.
Yeah. One quick thing. I don't think I mentioned this, but here I'm going to put it up on the screen for our YouTubers. But it's the 5th time this season that Stanton has gone back-to-back in games with home runs.
Let's hope he continues that and stays hot because when he gets hot, he's one of the more electric players in all of baseball.
Yep. Okay. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you would like your questions answered for our weekly Fan Mail Friday episode. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, where you get top priority. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, have back and forth about the games. It's a lot of fun. There's a 14-day free trial. All right, coming up next, we have a couple of things to talk about. Me making this Michael Tonkin athletic article happen. And
you willed it.
I did. I willed it to happen. And Aaron Judge is responsible for the new road uniforms. I had no idea.
Locked On Yankees is sponsored by Prize Picks. We're now less than a month from MLB's All-Star Game in Texas, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players to the diamond in your Prize Picks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entries today. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. My Dallas Mavericks picks have not been hitting as often as I'd like them to be, but how about this? Anecdotal evidence to prove it to you right now. The Yankees' first inning runs scored. They've done it more than any team in all of baseball. You keep picking that consistently, you're going to hit it majority of the time this season. That's statistics for you. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this baseball season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players, stats, and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code one word LOCKEDONMLB for a $100 first deposit match. And Locked On Yankees is also sponsored by Policygenius. Policygenius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. And some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Life can be unpredictable, guys, and Policygenius can take away the worries of what your family would do if something happened. Policygenius gives you unbiased advice from a licensed expert support team. They have no incentive to recommend one insurer over the other, so you can trust their guidance. Thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who have found the best fit for their needs with Policygenius. So check life insurance off of your to-do list in no time with Policygenius. Head over to policygenius.com/lockedonmlb or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports today is a free 24/7 streaming channel programmed for you every single day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports today brings you campus analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. You just got to download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, Michael Tonkin, you willed it. It happened. I still believe you've got some connection with The Athletic and you forced him to write this article. But before we get into that, please tell me about Michael Tonkin and this article that was written.
Okay. So Michael Tonkin, I didn't realize how all over the place his career has been.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's been literally all over the place. So earlier this season, he was with the Mets. He had a pretty bad outing against the Dodgers. His next outing, he actually did okay. He had 2 scoreless innings, but he knew that his days were numbered with the Mets. Like, he knew that they were going to come around and basically be like, yeah, we're going to DFA you. Like, nice to see you. And after that particular game where he threw the 2 scoreless innings is when they told him he was going to be DFA'd. And he wasn't even sure he was going to be back in the big leagues at all in 2023. He's had quite a journey because after he was cut by the Twins 7 years ago, he played in Japan. They said in the article he played in the park around the corner from his house during the pandemic. He played in independent leagues. He was out in Long Island. He was in Tijuana, Mexico. He played the Winter League in the Dominican Republic. He actually had some success in Long Island, Dominican Republic, and Mexico. He put up pretty good numbers in those places, but he believed that at that point he would probably never make it back to the big leagues. Like, that would be his career. And as we all know, he made his Yankee debut in your favorite game of the year against the Milwaukee Brewers. And at the time, it seemed unfair that they were bringing this guy who literally just arrived that day and put him in such a high leverage situation. And to this day, we're still like,
still made no sense.
Why would you do this to this person? Like, that's just so mean. So that night he gave up 2 runs in 1 1/3 innings. Since then, he's only given up 2 runs in just over 20 innings of work. His ERA is down to 0.89, and he's made 14 appearances. He saved the game the other night. I mean, unbelievable. After the start he had, after being DFA'd by 2 different teams in this season before he even made it to the Yankees, the fact that he is doing this well is a miracle.
Yeah. It's a credit to Mac Blake. Right? That's the only common denominator with all these pitchers. It's Matt Blake.
Right. So what has been working for Tonkin, you may ask, because you wonder about that. Like, how is this suddenly working for him? What pitches are working? He actually has 2 sliders. It's one thing for a guy to have 1, but he actually has 2. They say that one is shorter and sharper than the other. He's also throwing his slider more often, which he said after the game. I watched his interview after the game when he picked up that save against the Royals, and he said that he has been throwing his slider more often. He also has a 2-seamer, and he picked that up during spring training. And against that 2-seamer, he only has a 3.7 barrel rate, which puts him in the 91st percentile. So no one is barreling off of his 2-seamer. So if he was pitching against like Soto Judge and Stanton, and he had those numbers and kept them from barreling the ball, that would be amazing.
Isn't a shorter, sharper slider just a cutter?
I'm not sure.
Or am I going crazy? Because
I know.
Pretty sure a shorter, sharper slider is a cutter. It's the same grip. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I would think so. But it's kind of cool that, Matt Blake, it's interesting to me. I wish the Yankees had Matt Blake, 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
With like some other people, like we've already said it, the Sonny Gray thing. Sonny Gray would still be a Yankee if Matt Blake was pitching coach then,
100%.
because he wouldn't have made him throw the pitches that he wasn't comfortable throwing like the other guys did when they were here. So
he'd be a Yankee on probably Carlos Rodon's contract.
Yeah, it's like unbelievable.
And Sonny Gray, by the way, if you're not pitching amazing this year, like for the Cardinals, pitching really well. So
Tonkin has said that, or they say, because the guys were talking about Tonkin and how he's kind of like a beast out there now. And it's basically like he's channeled all of his past troubles and all of those, like that journey that he took for 7 years between major league stints. And he's turned it into kind of like a nasty persona on the mound where he's like, I'm going to get you out. I'm going to mow you down. I'm going to get you out. And I just think it's great. So I'm really happy for him. I'm happy that I willed this article into existence. We put the link in the description. Of course, it's a subscription, but you should be subscribed to The Athletic because it's very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, his story has been incredible. And I feel an attachment to him because I was so mad at that. His debut continuously will remain unfair to me.
Right. Because that's what it was. It was unfair to him. Yeah. I was more annoyed with Boone for doing that to him than the result that happened.
We said it that night, right? If you go back to that episode, we said it that night. It was unfair to him. We didn't even know the guy's name. We said Michael Tonkin didn't even know all the Yankee players' names, and he probably didn't. And he was pitching for them. So it still makes no sense to me this day. That game will annoy me for the rest of the season. Whether they win the championship or not, it'll annoy me. But I mean, thank God the Michael Tonkin stuff has worked out since.
Yep. So I didn't know about this. I saw this on Twitter, and then I Googled it and saw all the articles that were being written. So Aaron Judge is the reason why the Yankees went to their new old road uniforms. So pre-piping, and he suggested it 3 years ago because they wore throwback-ish uniforms for the Field of Dreams game. And he loved the way they looked, loved the way they felt, and wanted to go back to that. It took a little time. Ownership had to approve it, of course, but he's the reason why they're wearing those uniforms. And they're now 27-11 on the road in those uniforms. So those uniforms are working. As much as we make fun of Carlos Rodon for sweating through the road uniform, that's more Fanatic's fault than Aaron Judge's fault. He came up with like the idea for changing the design of the uniform, not the material or anything else like Fanatics did. So that's not Aaron Judge's fault. But I think it's really cool that he has that influence and was able to be like, hell, let's do this, man. Like,
I like them, and most people don't actually. That's a weird opinion. A lot of people don't like them. I actually like the new road uniforms. I'm glad they don't have an alternate though. And a lot of sports do. I mean, the NBA, you don't know what uniform is your home and road uniform anymore. I mean, most sports now do have an alternate uniform. Even the Dodgers, like a lot of classic baseball teams have alternates. The Red Sox have one, the Dodgers have one, the Reds have one, the Phillies have one. Even the oldest teams in baseball have an alternate. The Yankees still don't, which is crazy to think about. I don't know if they'll ever add one. I'm kind of glad they don't. It feels like it's more of I can't imagine them wearing anything other than the pinstripes at home.
I kind of wish they would do the navy up top pinstripe pants.
Yeah, but that's more of that. That's like the spring training look, right?
No, but I kind of like that. Like, even if they changed it where the front was different, like, or if they did it, maybe if they did a navy top with the gray pants on the road and did it that way, like that kind of an alternate where it still looks like the uniform. It's just,
I don't know if you'll ever see a change, honestly.
Yeah, because Judge originally wanted these as alternates, and then they decided, well, why don't we just make these the new road uniforms?
But you can't have your alternate. Your alternate can't match the color of another regular uniform, right? So like that wouldn't have worked.
Right. So that's Aaron Judge, and I like them now. Like at first I was kind of like, oh, those are kind of weird, but now it doesn't even.
I don't mind them.
No,
they're fine.
I don't mind them at all. They're good.
To me, they look good. They look cleaner.
Yes.
They look a little like just simpler, which I think is good for sports uniforms.
Yeah, because, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the Yankees are so boring. They never change their uniforms. Everything's so simple. Good. Everyone else can wear circus uniforms. Keep the Yankees the
when
way
did
they
the
are.
Dodgers change theirs? When did the Cardinals change theirs? Those are the most beautiful uniforms in sports. They stay that way for a reason.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Coming up next, the finale against the Royals. It's an afternoon game. We're going to talk about it.
Thank you.
Brian thanks the schedulers
Yeah.
for that. Yeah. Here on Locked On Yankees, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team. Whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs, it's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. So don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. You can see the link in the episode description below. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available in the free Fire TV Channels app. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So here we are at the end of a 4-game series that's felt like 7 games because these games at 8 o'clock just feel so long.
I don't know why, but 8 p.m. is just they feel like they go longer too. I don't know why, but it just it feels like they just drag. Every game of this series is dragged.
Yep.
And it's only dragged past the 6th inning.
That's
I feel like
it
every game I've watched in this series, it gets to the 6th inning in no time, and then all of a sudden the game takes an hour and 40 minutes.
It's like you hear the cartoon tire screech right at the 6th inning. It's like, and then it stops, and you're like, oh no, it's gonna slow down again, like really bad, and it does.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So game 4 of this series sees Nestor Cortes against Alec Marsh. Cortes is 3-5 with a 3.68 ERA. Alec Marsh is 5-3 with a 4.05 ERA. Nestor has pitched better at home mostly for the season, but he did not have that great a start last time at home. So maybe he'll reverse it and do okay.
Classic representation of why pitchers' records doesn't really matter though.
Right.
Because 3-5 doesn't look like a great record, and Nestor's been fine this year.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Yeah,
he's been fine.
So like, you can't look at the record and deem that as totally, the end all be all with baseball.
Oh yeah, no. Look at the ERA. He's below 4. I mean, it's not like the greatest.
And
thing
he's your
in the world.
5 starter.
Right. He's the worst starter for the Yankees.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at the ERA, he's been fine. Again, it's one of those that like I don't want to like speak out of turn like this, but if they lose this game, you still won the series and you move on. Like you're in this to win series. So you still want to get the win. You still want to move on to Boston with the positive outlook. But even if you lose this game, you can't leave Kansas City upset.
No, definitely not. 3 out of 4 it's so not easy. It is not easy to sweep a 4-game series. That's why when they did it against the Astros in the opening series, I was floored. I was really just absolutely shocked. And we keep talking about the Astros and how they'll probably pick things up. They're not. Yeah. They're still floundering there. And it's like, ooh, it's mid-June at this point. It's
the only thing is no one in that division seems to want to take it either, though.
Right. Like Seattle is in the lead, but it's not like.
Yeah, and Texas is meh.
Yeah.
Right? Like no one in that division seems to want to be able to take the lead, which leaves the door open for as long as it does with the Astros.
Yeah.
And also bless the baseball gods for giving us this game at 2:10. like nice and early in the day on our Friday, right? So we can record the show and be done with it. I'm feeling grateful for that. I really am.
Well, we're not going to record that early because we got to get all the Fan Mail Friday questions in, and I have to make all the graphics. But I'll probably do most of that during the game.
But no 11 p.m. start time for us.
Oh yeah,
which is a lot better.
We'll be recording it like, it'll be like 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
So programming note for Friday. As we know, the Yankees are going to be playing the Red Sox, but the game has been pushed up to 6:30, so it doesn't conflict with the Celtics sweeping the Mavericks on Friday night in Game 4.
That one's over.
Yeah, so the game is on locally, obviously, and on Nesson up in New England. Again, 6:30 start instead of 7:10 or whatever it was, because the game's in Dallas and it'll start a little later, and it'll give Red Sox/Celtics fans a chance to watch the game.
Celebrate.
Yeah, so good for you, I guess. I don't know.
If you're a Boston fan who's my age, which is 27 years old, you've lived your life completely spoiled. Oh, yeah. You've now seen your teams win multiple championships, each of them. It's ridiculous.
It's gross. It's absolutely gross. And I don't think this should they should be the last one. And then you should go the rest of the century without anything. Because I'm sick and tired of it. And no one would feel bad
for you.
Yeah, no, I'm sick and tired of it. It's enough. It's more than enough. It's actually been, thank God.
It's been enough.
Thank God for Eli Manning. Oh my God. David Tyree, Eli Manning, Mario Manningham. Thank you.
Yeah, but there were 6 others. So.
I know, but at least.
And they were still in those Super Bowls.
At least, yeah, but they won those Super Bowls. They stopped them from being perfect that one year. And they just, Tom Brady would have had 2 more rings if it wasn't for the Giants. Thank God. Anyway, enough of that. So, Yankees going for the series sweep. Again, like we said, we just want series wins. A sweep would be great. It's not that easy to sweep a 4-game series, even when you've beaten up on the team in the previous 3. So just putting that out there for everyone who's watching. Don't get too disappointed if tomorrow doesn't turn out, or not tomorrow, later today, doesn't turn out the way you want it to. Okay. One more time. You can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under our YouTube videos. There's a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions, and you can text us the questions for Fan Mail Friday, or you can leave those questions under the pinned comment under our YouTube videos, and you'll get your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. If you're an insider, you get priority, but you still will get your questions answered. Again, make them personal this week. I want it to be fun. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Fan Mail Friday is a lot of fun, right? We get a lot of good... We get a lot of interesting questions from you guys. You guys do a really great job every single week, and we really appreciate it. We appreciate you listening, watching, helping the show. We love you all.
Let's spice it up.
Yeah, let's spice it up a little bit. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you tomorrow for Fan Mail Friday.